Archangel Michael says, there are moments when betrayal comes from the very hands you once lifted out of darkness. Tonight, I must open your eyes to a plot you never imagined would form. This is not a small whisper, but a calculated, venom-laced attempt to tarnish your name where many ears can hear. The air around you has shifted without you knowing, carrying unseen words that travel fast and cut deep. Somewhere in a glowing phone screen, a group chat is alive with twisting lies. They are building a story that paints you in colors you never wore, and the one leading this attack is a woman you once defended, supported, and gave pieces of your heart to. Her words drip with an artificial sweetness that hides the sharp blade beneath. Each sentence she sends is crafted to turn allies into doubters, friends into quiet judges. You are not in that chat, but your presence is being shaped and shattered there without your knowledge. This is not the random spite of a stranger. This is personal. She remembers your kindness, and instead of gratitude, she now feeds off the thrill of betraying you before an audience that believes her words are truth. The reason will unfold, but you must know, this is not happening by accident. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Archangel Michael says, the circle she has chosen to speak in is not accidental either. It is filled with people whose opinions hold weight, people who could influence how others see you. She is dropping her venom there so it spreads faster, like ink in clear water, turning the perception of you dark before you even get a chance to speak. These conversations started with hints, with small concerns, that did not look like accusations at first. But now the hints have grown into confident statements, the kind that leave no room for you to defend yourself. She smiles behind her phone as she watches others nod along, adding their own assumptions without knowing the truth. The damage she wants is not temporary. She is aiming to make this a shadow that follows you in every interaction, a mark you can't wash away easily. She wants the people who once admired you to look twice, to hesitate, to wonder if they were wrong about you all along. And what makes this heavier is the memory of when she had nothing. When her world was falling apart, you were there, pulling her out of the storm, giving her a reason to stand again. She once cried in your presence and said she would never forget what you did. Yet here she is, erasing that moment with her own hands. Type Amen to get blessing 444. Archangel Michael says, you are now standing at the edge of a revelation that will change how you view loyalty forever. The screen where she writes is glowing right now, her fingers tapping out sentences that stitch together half-truths and complete lies. She uses your real actions, twists them slightly, and frames them in the worst possible light so they appear believable. The others in that group chat are not innocent either. Some are feeding her with questions, giving her room to say more, to make her stories bigger. Each reaction she gets is fuel for her next attack. She feels powerful in that moment because she controls the narrative and the audience. But Archangel Michael warns, truth does not die in the dark. No matter how carefully she spreads her poison, there will come a moment when the words return to her, and the weight of them will be too heavy for her to carry. The same mouths that repeat her lies will one day speak of her deception. Your spirit may feel heavy now because your name is being dragged without your permission. But understand, this is not the end. You are not without defense, and you are not without unseen allies who are already watching her moves. Type Amen to get blessing 222. There are silent witnesses in that chat who are not speaking up yet. They are watching, noting every exaggerated claim she makes. Some of them know the truth but are waiting for the right moment to reveal that they were never convinced by her performance. Her main goal is not just to embarrass you, it is to remove you from certain circles entirely. She wants you excluded from opportunities, removed from gatherings, and left with a tarnished image that makes it difficult for you to rebuild trust. The more you once did for her, the more dangerous she feels you are now. Because gratitude was never her intention, advantage was. The moment she realized you could no longer be used for her benefit, she replaced kindness with cruelty. This betrayal is not only a reflection of her, it is a test for you. How you handle this will determine how the truth rises back to the surface. And though she thinks she is hidden behind the safety of a group chat, her words will travel back to you in a way she cannot control. Archangel Michael says, the thread of this conversation in that group chat is now long, tangled, and dangerous. The more she types, the deeper she digs her own trap without realizing it. Her need for attention has made her reckless, and she has begun adding details that never happened, thinking no one will challenge her. Some members are already starting to doubt her, though they have not said it aloud. They remember moments with you that contradict her stories. They are beginning to sense the cracks in her narrative, the inconsistencies that betray the truth she is trying to hide. She believes her control over the conversation is absolute. But in the unseen realm, forces are already shifting. The very lies she's spinning are collecting evidence against her, each message becoming a piece of proof that will one day expose her. Type Amen to get blessing 555. You might feel the invisible weight of this betrayal pressing against your chest, a heaviness that makes you restless. That is because your spirit senses the attack even before your mind fully knows it. The energy of her false words has already tried to weave its way into the perception others hold of you. Her satisfaction grows with each notification she receives from that group. She imagines your face if you ever found out, believing it would shatter you. This belief fuels her. She thinks she has found the perfect way to hurt you without touching you directly. But Archangel Michael assures you, her own greed for attention will lead her to overplay her hand. The moment will come when she says too much, involving the wrong person, and her supposed supporters will turn cold. Lies, no matter how sweetly packaged, cannot survive under the full light. The people you once thought would be quick to judge you will shock her instead. Some of them will stand up in ways you never expected, defending you not because they are forced to, but because deep down, they know your truth. Type Amen to get blessing 777. Archangel Michael says, there is a reason you are learning this now, before the damage can fully root itself. You are being given the awareness so you can prepare, not to panic. The truth will not only return to you, it will return with proof so strong that her own mouth will have no defense. What she doesn't know is that in her circle, there is someone whose loyalty to you has never wavered. This person has stayed silent, gathering screenshots, saving messages, and quietly building a wall of truth that will shield you when the time is right. Her downfall will not be loud at first, it will start with subtle withdrawals. People who once responded to her will begin ignoring her, reading her words but choosing not to engage. She will feel her control slipping but won't know why. By the time she realizes that the group is no longer hers to manipulate, it will be too late. The same chat she used to destroy you will become the platform where her lies are exposed. and she will have no one to blame but herself. Type Amen to get blessing 999. She has convinced herself that her betrayal is justified, twisting memories of your kindness into reasons why she should hate you. It is easier for her pride to turn you into an enemy than to admit she owes you more than she can repay. Her words are calculated to sting, but they also reveal her fears. Every insult she sends is a reflection of what she secretly envies in you: your strength, your resilience, your ability to remain grounded no matter the storm. Archangel Michael says, you must hold your peace in this moment. This is not the time to confront her directly. The truth is preparing to surface in a way that will leave her without escape, and when that moment arrives, you will not need to raise your voice. The very people she tried to turn against you will be the ones to reveal her betrayal to your face. And in that moment, she will have no place to hide, for her lies will be standing in the open, naked and undeniable. Archangel Michael says, the wind of truth is already moving, even though she cannot feel it yet. What she believes is her safe space, the group chat, is becoming a cage that tightens with every word she types. Those messages, once meant to shame you, are becoming evidence of her cruelty, preserved in the hands of someone she never suspected would betray her. The poison she drips is no longer just aimed at you, it has begun to spill over, staining her own image. There are people in that chat who have started to privately message each other, questioning why she is so obsessed with tearing you down. These whispers behind her back are the first cracks in the wall she thought would protect her. She doesn't know that one of her most trusted listeners is also your quiet protector. They are in that group not to join the attack, but to watch, to gather, and to wait for the perfect moment to act on your behalf. Every twist of her words, every exaggerated claim, is being stored like arrows, only this time, they will fly back at her. Type Amen to get blessing 333. Archangel Michael says, when someone tries to poison another's name, they unknowingly reveal the poison that already lives inside them. Her envy is the true reason for this attack. She saw you rise from situations that should have broken you, and deep down, she could not stand to witness your strength. What eats her alive is the knowledge that you did good for her with no expectation of return. It reminds her of what she is not, and instead of growing, she chose to destroy. She thinks the group believes her because they are responding, but what she doesn't see is that some are only humoring her to keep the peace. Every conversation she starts about you is laced with rehearsed outrage. She repeats the same points over and over, hoping that repetition will make her lies feel like truth. But those listening are beginning to notice the pattern, how the story changes slightly each time, how the emotion feels forced. And now, the silence of a few members is starting to make her uneasy. She wonders why they no longer react the same way. That discomfort is the first sign that her plan is unraveling. Type Amen to get blessing 444. Archangel Michael says, she chose the group chat because it feels private, but in reality, it is like an open hall with many doors. What she types there can be taken, shared, and shown to eyes she never intended. Already, her words have left that space, carried by someone who believes you deserve to know the truth. Her face lights up each time her phone pings with a reply. It gives her the false sense that she's in control, but she is not aware that each reply is also being weighed and judged. Even her allies are wondering if they should distance themselves before her lies catch up to them. You are not the only one she has spoken against, but you are the one she speaks of the most. That obsession is becoming obvious, and it is beginning to work against her. People are questioning why her focus is always on you, and why she seems unable to let the matter go. Soon, her own words will be used to dismantle her entire narrative. Screenshots will circulate quietly at first, then openly, until she has no choice but to face the reality that she has lost the very group she tried to use against you. Type Amen to get blessing 555. Archangel Michael says, her biggest mistake was underestimating the power of truth. She believed that if she struck hard and fast, your reputation would be gone before you could even defend yourself. But what she didn't realize is that the timing of this exposure is divinely aligned. The day is coming when she will be confronted, not by you, but by the very people she thought she had convinced. They will hold her words against her, ask her to explain the inconsistencies, and watch her stumble over her own lies. Her downfall will not be dramatic at first, it will be slow and humiliating. The more she tries to fix her story, the more tangled it will become. And when she finally realizes she has no way out, she will either vanish from that group or attempt a weak apology that no one will believe. By then, you will already be restored. Your name will carry even more weight than before, because people will respect how you stood silently and let the truth work for you. And she will be left with the bitter taste of her own failed schemes. Archangel Michael says, the hour of unveiling approaches like footsteps in a quiet corridor. The group chat that once cheered her on is growing colder. Reactions have slowed, and the hungry thrill she felt is fading into a nervous silence she cannot name. Her latest message lands with a dull thud. No one rushes to add fuel. Someone leaves the chat quietly, and the exit notification slices through her confidence like a clean blade. She types again, faster, adding a dramatic flourish she hopes will revive attention. Instead, a member replies with a measured statement that doesn't support her or you. It simply asks for clarity in a way that exposes the holes without naming them. Another member drops a screenshot from months ago, a piece of your kindness made visible in their gallery. It shows your help, your patience, the thing she tried to erase. The air inside the chat thins as the lie loses its breath. Type Amen to get blessing 121. Archangel Michael says, the quiet protector moves now. They compile the thread from the beginning, the small hints, the swollen exaggerations, the final false certainty. They present it as a respectful review, a neat timeline where every message answers to its own shadow. The timestamps betray her. What she swore happened before your departure actually happened after. What she implied you said publicly was proven private and compassionate. The archive does not choose sides, it simply shines, and her story cannot stand inside that light. She tries to pivot, claiming she only wanted transparency. The audience refuses the bait, because her words from earlier show a hunger for humiliation, not healing. The group senses this, and the spell breaks. A moderator appears from quiet watching, the way a door opens that no one noticed before. They ask for calm with the weight of authority, and calm obeys. In the pause, her narrative collapses like a tent with pulled stakes. A new thread begins, simple, steady, factual. The members who doubted earlier now speak clearly. They anchor the room with a tone that says the storm is over. She makes one last attempt, throwing in a dramatic statement that hopes to regain the room. It lands wrong. It sounds like a plea for attention rather than truth. Someone shares a voice note of you from months ago, thanking everyone who stood by during a difficult week. You do not mention her. You do not accuse anyone. You speak like someone who believes goodness is practical, steady, and quiet. The contrast destroys what remains of her performance. She cannot argue with warmth. She cannot outmaneuver sincerity that never needed a stage. Type Amen to get blessing 808. She vanishes for an hour, then returns with a half apology that tastes like rust. It blames stress, misunderstanding, the pressure of the moment. Not once does it acknowledge the simple truth, that she aimed to stain your name. The group does not lift her. They let the apology fall where it belongs. A few members react with a neutral acknowledgement, the kind that ends a chapter without reopening it. Screenshots of her earlier glee still live in multiple galleries. They are not used against her, but they are not erased either. Memory refuses to bend just because shame arrived late. The moderator closes the thread with firm grace. There will be no more public spectacles. Private concerns will be handled privately. The room exhales. Archangel Michael says, "Word reaches you not as gossip, but as a careful delivery." A friend asks if you want context and sends a bundle of proof only when you nod. You read slowly, the way a person studies a storm that has already passed. You do not shatter. You become precise. You answer with a message that holds no anger, just clarity and boundary, a crafted sentence that says you will be available for truth but never again for manipulation. You decide where to stand, and you choose to stand outside the mud. Your silence is not surrender, it is selection. You do not throw stones into the water you mean to keep clear. In your quiet, something rises. Your name drifts back to its rightful shape, clean and undecorated by rumor. Those who matter remember. Those who matter more never forgot. Behind another screen, the woman paces. The thrill is gone, replaced by a heaviness she cannot scroll away from. Her fingers hover over the keyboard, but every sentence tastes like defeat before she types it. The person who once fed her attention turns distant. They have seen enough and want distance from the heat. She wanted an audience, and now she sits alone in the echo of her own performance. The group moves on without announcing it. They talk about work, plans, and quiet joys. The room returns to being a room, not a stage for someone else's pain. You are invited to a new circle, one that has no appetite for spectacle. The invitation arrives not as a trumpet, but as a simple message that feels like a door quietly opening. You step through without looking back. The friend who gathered proof keeps it stored, not to harm, but to guard the boundary. They do not gloat. They simply watch over your name the way a careful hand shields a small flame from the wind. You sleep, and your sleep is unbroken. No midnight clicks shatter the dark. No blue light pulls you toward defense. The night is yours again. Morning comes with a slow certainty. Your steps feel like steps placed on a floor that will not tilt. You move through your day with attention, not tension. She wakes to the residue of what she created. The group is still there, but her place inside it has shifted. The warmth she used as currency is no longer offered at the same rate. Someone tells her to take a break and come back when she's ready to be fair. The words are gentle but immovable. She understands the message beneath them. You do not seek revenge, you refine access. You decide who gets speaking rights in rooms that hold your name. You decide how long doors stay open, and some doors close with a soft click that no one hears but you. Her mind revisits the day you helped her. She remembers your patience, your directness, your willingness to be present. The memory does not comfort her now, it indicts her. You begin a small practice that keeps your soul clear. You write for 5 minutes each morning, 3 sentences of truth, 3 sentences of gratitude, 3 sentences of boundary. It becomes a quiet architecture inside you. A message arrives from a distant member of the group. They say your name with respect and ask for your guidance on a project. The world remembers how you build, not how off. The woman tries to reclaim the narrative a final time in a private chat with 2 allies. One of them does not answer. The other replies with a short line, "Let's be fair." She stops typing. The conversation ends not with vengeance, but with emptiness. The emptiness is the part she cannot bear. Far from the noise, you sharpen your vision. You prune the garden of your weak. You pour attention where it multiplies into trust. Invitations come that match your shape. Rooms where your voice is wanted, not consumed. Tables where people bring bread and listen. The group chat lives on as a record. Not of scandal, but of a lesson. The lesson sits in the quiet corners and looks like wisdom. You pass the place where gossip used to catch your breath. Your breath no longer snags. It moves in and out like a tide that knows its shore. Someone asks you to mentor them. They say your steadiness saved them from a decision that could have broken a bridge. You accept, with kindness and limits. The woman watches from a distance as your path refuses to bend. The envy that once fed her grows quiet, starved of reactions. She learns that silence can be mercy and consequence at the same time. You keep your receipts, screenshots, dates, shifts in tone. Not to harm, but to hold a mirror, if the day ever asks for one. Your calm is documented. Your choice is documented. The moderator greets you warmly in a new space. They thank you for your grace without making a speech of it. They move on, and you follow the motion of their ease. Your name becomes a place again. A place where people feel safe to speak truth and bring effort. A place where projects finish and friendships breathe. The past does not vanish. It simply takes its seat at the back of the room. It will not interrupt your next sentence. You answer a morning message with clarity and a small smile. The day answers you back with tasks that fit your hands. The work is clean. The hours are honest. Across the city, she scrolls through old photos and cannot scrub your kindness out of them. She closes the app. She opens it again. Nothing changes. Your circle tightens and brightens. The right people draw closer, not with noise, but with presence. You say yes to what is aligned and no to what is hungry. Archangel Michael says, the record has been set in order. The wall is rebuilt with better bricks. The gate has a new lock and you have the key. Type Amen to get blessing 333. You walk past the river where your reflection used to break in the wind. It stays steady, even as the current moves. You understand that steadiness is not stillness, it is choice. The story that began as a smear ends as a blueprint. A blueprint for boundaries, for quiet authority, for healed reputation. You fold it and place it where you keep important things. A message arrives from the one who stayed loyal in silence. It says only this: all settled. You answer with gratitude that needs no flourish. You step into the evening like someone who knows where the light switches are. The room responds. The future watches and nods. Tomorrow waits without teeth. It opens like a page instead of a trap. You turn it, and it turns willingly. Archangel Michael says, keep your hands open for work, your heart guarded for peace, your name anchored in truth. The storm that tried to rename you has lost its letters. The sky beyond it is clear and exact. You close the door gently behind this chapter. You do not slam. You do not announce. You simply move forward, and forward answers. Archangel Michael says, forward is not just a direction, it is a decision you keep making with each step. You have crossed the place where her words once lingered like smoke, and now that air is clear. The ground beneath you feels different, firmer, as if it remembers that you chose not to fall when the weight came. In the days ahead, your name will be spoken in new spaces, places where her voice has no reach. Invitations will come from people who have seen both your trials and your restraint. They will value not just what you do, but how you choose to do it. She, meanwhile, will try to revive the past in whispers, but they will not carry the way they once did. Her audience is smaller now, her influence dimmed. Even those who once leaned close to hear her will feel the hollowness in her words. Type Amen to get blessing 333. There will be a moment when you cross paths unexpectedly. She will search your face for anger, but you will give her only stillness. That stillness will unsettle her more than any confrontation could. She might offer small talk, pretending as if the storm never happened. But you will answer with measured grace, not to invite her back in, but to show her that your peace is not negotiable. Others will watch this interaction and understand the difference between dignity and revenge. You do not need to prove her wrong, your life already does that without a word. Archangel Michael says, the power of a clean heart is not in its softness alone, it is in its refusal to be pulled into the mud. The space you stand in now is proof that storms pass and truth endures. Type Amen to get blessing 444. Weeks will pass, and the group chat where her plot began will move further into the background of your life. Conversations there will continue, but your name will not appear as it once did. The silence about you will be louder than any false accusation she made. In that quiet, she will begin to feel the cost of her actions. The trust she lost will not return easily, if at all. The attention she craved will slip from her grasp, replaced by the reality that her reputation has been altered, by her own hand. You will receive a private message from someone who once doubted you. They will admit they were wrong, that they see clearly now what happened. Their words will carry no demand for forgiveness, just the truth, offered freely. That message will not only affirm your name, it will remind you that patience wins battles that force never could. Your silence was not weakness, it was a choice that protected your future. Type Amen to get blessing 555. One evening, as the sun lowers and the air cools, you will reflect on the path that brought you here. You will realize that the betrayal which once felt like a wound became the very thing that sharpened your discernment. You will not close your heart to helping others, but you will no longer give access to those who cannot carry trust. This is not bitterness, it is wisdom learned the hard way. Archangel Michael says, "The same way lies can travel in secret, so can blessings." The truth about your heart, your intentions, and your actions is already being spoken in rooms you have not yet entered. The chapter of her deceit is closing, not with noise, but with the quiet sound of her own isolation. And in that same quiet, your life is opening into something wider, steadier, and untouched by the poison she tried to spread. Archangel Michael says, restoration is not always a loud return, it is often a quiet reclaiming of everything that was meant to be yours. You begin to notice subtle shifts. Conversations flow easier. Doors that were half open swing fully wide. The spaces you enter now feel lighter, as if the air itself knows you belong there. The people who matter most are not just supporting you, they are amplifying your name in the right way. They speak about your reliability, your integrity, your ability to hold steady under pressure. Their words travel further than the lies ever did, because truth carries a weight that rumor cannot match. She hears pieces of this from the edges. Though she pretends not to care, her chest tightens each time your name is spoken positively. She thought she had buried your image beneath doubt, but now she sees it rise higher than before. Type Amen to get blessing 333. You begin receiving invitations to rooms that require trust to enter. These are not the noisy, chaotic spaces where drama thrives, they are the kind where work gets done, where ideas grow roots, where respect is the currency. In one of these rooms, someone mentions that they had once been told something negative about you. They smile slightly as they add, "I'm glad I didn't believe it." The others nod, and the conversation continues without giving the lie any oxygen. Meanwhile, the group chat that was once the stage for her performance has grown stale for her. Without the drama surrounding your name, she has little to offer that captures attention. She tries to stir new conflicts, but the responses are lukewarm at best. Her reach shrinks. The silence of others around her becomes a mirror, showing her the space she's lost. She scrolls back through her old messages, realizing how obvious her malice now looks in the cold light of hindsight. Type Amen to get blessing 444. One evening, your loyal protector from that group chat sends you an update. They tell you how the atmosphere shifted after the truth surfaced. They say that people now tread more carefully when discussing others, aware that anything can be traced and revealed. This protector admits that your restraint inspired them. They had expected you to fight back loudly, but instead you let time and truth do the heavy lifting. They call it one of the strongest lessons they've ever seen in action. Archangel Michael says, "This is the reward of patience, the ability to influence others without forcing them. You showed that not every attack requires a counterattack. Some only require endurance until the enemy runs out of breath." She, however, has not learned the same lesson. In smaller circles, she still tests her ability to manipulate, but the results are weak. People give her polite nods but keep their real trust elsewhere. She notices, but she doesn't know how to rebuild what she destroyed. Type Amen to get blessing 555. Then comes a moment you did not plan for, a direct message from her. It is short, almost awkward. She says she hopes you're well and wants to clear the air. There is no true apology in her words, but there is a clear undercurrent of regret. You read it twice, then place your phone down. You do not reply immediately, because your peace is not a prize to be rushed into giving. When you do respond, it is with clarity. You acknowledge her message, wish her well, but make it clear that the bridge she burned cannot be rebuilt in the same way. Her reply never comes. The silence stretches on, and you know that's the end of it. The chapter has no dramatic closing line, just a door that you chose to shut and lock. Archangel Michael says, the justice here was not in public humiliation, but in the fact that she could not take from you what she intended. Your name stands. Your work continues. Your circle is smaller, stronger, and free of poison.